Government of India has announced the new education policy. I welcome several steps. For example, the doing away with the school final exams class 10, making graduation of 4 years honors, and allowing both 1 and 2 years of post-graduation, much in tune with the Western form of education, allowing the best 100 universities of the world to come to India and open campuses, and allowing the efficiently running Indian universities and institutions to go abroad in a large number. These are all positive steps. Allowing graded autonomy to institutes of higher education, and also bringing in a lot of flexibility as far as issues connected to the differentiation between vocational and academic courses, or issues connected to co-curricular and curricular aspects, or the very strict differentiation among streams of education. These being done away with or at least reduced is a welcome step. I am not very clear about how do you make the education accessible to large number of people, particularly in today's time when digital access is very limited across the country, and it's reported that almost 70% of the youngsters who are in school and college and university going age are deprived of the regular unabated digital education, and most of them never having an iota of digital education. So creating digital access is not answered in this. Yes, I welcome the increase of the investment from 2.5% of GDP to almost 6% of the GDP in public education is a good step. Renaming Ministry of Education is also a good step. Bringing in a single higher education regulatory body which can have components within it is also a good idea. There are several good ideas, as on the face of it, it looks a great policy, particularly for middle and upper middle class. I'm not too sure about the poor people, the people without any resources to buy education, quote unquote. How are they going to be a part of this compulsory universal educational right that has been said that age 3 to 18 years must be in schools? Laudable idea. How do you achieve it for the lower 50% of the people economically? This is not clear. However, perhaps with the passage of time, things will be clearer as we go ahead.
Namaskar. My name is Kuldeep Surolia. And finally, after 34 years, we have our own new national education policy. Today, on this historic day, in times of pandemic and lockdowns, we teachers look forward to a bright future through this NEP. Finally, looks like we have our own Ministry of Education for the teachers, by the teachers, and of the teachers. Considering the higher benchmark setting by the NEP, it looks like the cost of education might go up in years ahead. For example, by 2030 for teaching, 4 years integrated B.Ed will become must, which will lead to better quality and higher salaries and of course higher cost. One another great aspect is introduction of mandatory vocational education before 12th in the new 5+3+3+4 system. This will increase employability and will create a vibrant India. Till date, schools have never addressed the issue of employability and has always concentrated on delivering curriculums or syllabus. I guess the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat is reflected even in education also. Board exams are the major stress creators for students and parents, as the new national education policy declares that board exams will be made easy and school curriculum will be reduced to core concept. This will help the new generation of students. Students will have increased flexibility and choice of subjects so that they choose their own paths according to their talents and interests. There will be no rigid separation between arts and science, and between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams, just like we had in our times. Instead of exams being held every year, school students will sit only for 3 exams at classes 3, 5 and 8. Assessment in other years will shift to a regular and formative style that is more competency based, promotes learning and development, and tests HOTS, higher order thinking skills such as analytical, critical thinking and conceptual clarity. In terms of regulatory framework, the states and UTs will be required to set up independent state school standard authority. Transparent public self-disclosure of all basic regulatory information as laid down by SSSA will be used extensively for public oversight and accountability. The SCRT will develop a school quality assessment and accreditation framework through consultation with all the stakeholders. Now, this seems a revolutionary step. Let's wait and see how it is executed on the ground in reality. Another good feature for our students of 21st and 22nd century is the multiple exit options in undergraduate programs with the re-entry eased by academic bank credit. It also paves the way for study in India, just like our Make in India concept. I hope this great idea titled NEP is implemented and executed with the same passion as it is drafted and written with.
Greetings to everyone. Friends, I am Dr. Sandeep Suncheti, Vice Chancellor of SRM Institute of Science and Technology and also the former President of Association of Indian Universities. Today, all of us are very happy that the new education policy 2020 has taken the shape. A lot of efforts were being put in by various committees from time to time to give us a new education policy, but finally the onus was on the Kasturirangan committee, which worked for last 3 to 4 years tirelessly and brought out this particular policy, which has been approved by the cabinet committee. It's a great moment for us. It's a moment where we can now look forward to a bright educational space happening in the country. I must congratulate the Ministry of HRD, Human Resource Development, and also the Government of India for their role and for driving it very, very efficiently. Friends, the new education policy will be our guiding light in making India very, very vibrant academically, and therefore it has come out with a lot of new propositions which are endless. It will be very difficult to sum them up in a very short video of this particular nature, but I must say that I'm impressed by the very thought processes and various aspects which have been included in this process. Some of them which I can possibly highlight in this address, a small address, would be about the increase in the budget going to 6%, also the increase or the proposal for increase in the gross enrollment ratio, enhancing the autonomy to an extent that it trickles down to the students' level also. The students can choose their courses, make their degrees. I think those kind of provisions have been made by giving them more autonomy. Constitution of a national regulatory authority is also provided in that, which will be a single unified body for all the admissions at the higher education level. I think multidisciplinarity is going to be promoted. There is a lot of provision for improving the promotion of various languages, including local languages, and also the inclusion of subjects related to arts and culture and the Indian history which are there. The scheme also talks about various innovative features like multiple entry, multiple exit, giving certifications, diplomas and degrees. It is also talking about the CAT. It is also promoting the online education, talking about internationalization, scholarships, virtual labs and whatnot. I think almost everything which we thought of or is required is possibly covered in this. It's a very big policy, very big step. It has shown us and it has captured our dreams. It's right time that we try to make sure that we implement it efficiently and make sure that we take advantage of this particular policy of New Education 2020.
The new education policy has been announced. It's a very welcome step because it's come after a long time and after a much needed wider consultation all stakeholders. So what has really come out is in many ways much wanted, much needed steps. What it has really done is to brought back the focus on education and especially on building multidisciplinarity and making the education holistic. In fact, many steps which has been announced were long awaited. The multiple entry and exit point, the credit-based system, the renewal of MPhil, the appointment of single regulator for many courses like medicine, law, architecture and such things. Of course, many other initiatives have been announced for which we would be looking forward to receiving more details. One of which is common entrance exam, which is a very good initiative. It can be on the basis of SAT or things like that can be worked out. E-courses have been highlighted. However, so far the focus has been on non-engineering courses. So if the field of application would be diversified and other courses and other streams involved in it would also be something we would be looking forward to. It is anticipated that all norms would become common for government and private institutions, which is good. However, one has to consider that private universities operate under very different circumstances with almost no support of the government in research or in even normal building up of laboratories or hiring world-class faculty or going in for even ratings and valuations and other things. There is no support, and in that context, the capping of fee would be something we would be anxiously looking forward to as to what is being proposed.
Hello, I am Subhashish Mazumdar. I was the ex-Director General of a large university in North India and continue to have senior advisory and mentoring roles for the edutech industry and the education online content industry. Well, the new education policy is absolutely unique. It is more transformative, and it will definitely be a model and role changer in the times to come for the youth and children of this country. The focus has been on the technology advancement and technology requirement in each and every aspect of the education. It has also given the benefits of the vocational education, and so much so that you can have an internship after class 6th for minimum 10 days. The focus has also been given to the other areas and other subjects of humanities, arts, etc., along with the technology, where you can avail the benefits in the similar institutes and organizations. The uniqueness of the technology still continues, given the times we are living now, so much so that the coding system under the so-called computer sciences is eligible to start from class 6th onwards. The easiness in learning has been done by requiring the regional languages to be emphasized for learning for the children in various places apart from English, Hindi. And in fact, it has been mentioned that up to class 5th you can have your own mother tongue language or the regional language. I think considering all these aspects, the new education policy is definitely going to open up the more practical requirements for the industry and sectors. Also, the focus on research has been well considered and taken. The change in the pattern of 10 plus 2 to 11 plus 4 for the high school and graduation is also unique. That will only ensure that the ability of transforming to a higher education level is more suitable. So we feel that the new education policy is definitely what was required in this country for a while, and now it has come, and it will take a bit of while to settle down all the aspects, but as we move on, the things will be different in the education sector.
For the first time, India will have a Ministry of Education to replace the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Well, ironically, the new education policy aims not just at education, but the entire gamut of human resource development, as it expands the lens beyond structured curriculum and predictable careers to a holistic 360-degree character-building process, reviving India's famed Gurukul approach with the aim of creating a self-reliant India. As it addresses the critical needs of employment and employability, offering a creative mix of flexibility and focus all throughout the learning life of the student, as it empowers the teacher, enhancing transparency and accountability through leaner governance. The new education policy truly has the makings of a perfect and clear 2020 vision, provided it's implemented in true letter and spirit. Hence, it's relevant, responsive, and